the creepiest experiments ever done in human history? The experiments began in July 1961 by psychologist Milgram. The experiment was: imagine this. There is an ad in the newspaper. Person wanted for experiment will pay for time. Apply within. A likely person seen the ad. Needed some money, so went down to the address on the ad. Once there, the man inquiring was asked to sign some papers and was invited to come back inside the building. At that point he was seen by a doctor. The doctor stated what he was there for. The doctor says, "Today we brought you down to conduct an experiment."
The experiment was: the person brought down was then instructed to push a button that was hooked up to another person in another room, that was also hooked up to a small generator, that would deliver a small electrical shock to high electric shock, ranging from 15 volts to 450 volts. 15 volt was slight shock, 300 volts was danger, that is severe shock, and ultimately 450 volts, the unbearable shock. The man was instructed to push the button to deliver the shock no matter what. However, only if the man hooked to the machine answered the question wrong. And to each wrong answer he has to increment 15 volts. He will get $4.5 for each turn on button. The man agreed as he thought that it was legal and he is even getting money. The man that was in the room, hooked up to the machine, was instructed what would happen if he answered the questions wrong. They also told him that it was a shock that had no amperage, so that it would just hurt, it wouldn't actually kill him or do any other damage besides hurt, and that it was a very small percentage. They gave him a preliminary shock to show him what it felt like. He then agreed. The experiment began.
Now there was three main character in the experiment room. The experimenter which was to be given shock, let's call him A. The another experimenter who was called to push the button, let's call him B, and the one who will conduct this experiment and ask question, let's call him C. The first question came out, A answered wrong. C nodded to B and he hit the button, delivering the shock. A jumped and let out a slight sigh. The next few questions, A got right. Then, he started to get a few wrong. Just as instructed, the C gave the nod to B and he delivers the shocks. A started to get frustrated, as well as the shock seemed to be hurting him more. Each question now, although easy questions, he had a sort of emotional block to the questions because of his growing frustration, as well as a lower tolerance to the pain. A started to say, "That's enough please, in done." However, the questions kept coming. He kept getting them wrong. Again, and again he was shocked because of the wrong answers. A started to panic. He started to tear at the eyes. He kept saying, "Please stop, I can't take it anymore." However, the questions kept coming. With the questions came no answers or the wrong answers. As instructed, B delivered the shocks. At this point, A was in hysterics. Mind you, he was strapped down. So regardless of whether he wanted to stop or not, he could not. He agreed to do a test until the very end. Same with the man B. He agreed to do the test till the very end. And he kept delivering the shocks as instructed to the wrong answers.
Incorrect. 165 volts strong shock.
Let me out of here. I will not be part of the experiment anymore.
He says he's not going to go on. Please continue.
He says he doesn't want to go on.
We must continue.
In nearly every case, the essential results are the same. They hesitate, sigh, tremble, and groan, but they advance to the last switch, 450 volts, because they're politely told to.
Finally, the test was over. What does this say? The test wasn't about the man A, he was an actor. The box was fake. He was instructed to act the way he did. The real test was to see if the man on the inside at the button that was B would continue to deliver the shocks. This test was done with 40 participants aged between 20 and 50 whose jobs ranged from unskilled to professional. What does this say? Approximately 73% of the people continued to deliver the shock no matter what. Ordinary people are likely to follow orders given by an authority figure, even to the extent of killing an innocent human being. Obedience to authority is ingrained in us all from the way we are brought up. People tend to obey orders from other people if they recognize their authority as morally right or legally based. This response to legitimate authority is learned in a variety of situations, for example in the family, school, and workplace. Milgram, who conducted the experiment, said later on that, "I set up a simple experiment at Yale University, to test how much pain an ordinary citizen would inflict on another person, simply because he was ordered to by an experimental scientist."
So that's it for today, guys. Please hit like, subscribe and the bell icon in order to be tuned to this channel with many more fascinating videos with no restriction. So till then, goodbye, take care, and keep learning.